Missing the boat. A lot of people are missing the boat when it comes to solar. You see, solar is not about solar and it's not about today. Let me explain. What solar really is about is it's about control and predictability. It's about power grid reliability, less power outages, and it's about what is around the corner that's already happening to us. We can't see it, but the tracks have already been laid. So what people think is that solar's expensive, or they think my bills aren't that bad, or they think solar's only for my forever home, or they think if I move, selling my home is going to be harder, or they think things like I don't want to finance and go into debt. Let's talk about solar's expensive. The price of solar should only be compared to the price of what it's replacing. In other words, solar is not an additional cost. It's a replacement of your existing cost, which is your utility bill. So if you do solar the right way, you're going to end up replacing a more expensive bill with a more affordable bill. So even though there's a price to it, that price is less expensive than what you're already paying. So it's a reduction to your kitchen table budget, not an addition. If I asked you to give me $50, you'd say, I'm not giving you $50. I don't even know you. If I said, hey, trade me your $50 bill for my $100 bill, and you knew it was real, you'd do it in a second. You would take that $100 bill in exchange for a $50 bill because it puts $50 back in your pocket. That's solar in a nutshell. You're basically exchanging a smaller currency with larger currency every single month if you go solar. So is it expensive? Well, it's not free, but in reality, it's putting money in your pocket. My power bills aren't that bad. So for some people, if they live in smaller houses, maybe their power bills really aren't that bad, and they think, well, if I go solar, it's not really going to save me that much money. I'm not going to invest in thousands of dollars to save 20 bucks a month. Just doesn't make any sense to me. But they're looking at it the wrong way because even if your power bill is low and solar barely saves you any money, when you pay your utility company, every dollar and cent you give them is basically money that you never get back. It's like throwing your money into a fire. Where when you pay for solar every month, even if it's the same amount you were paying the utility company, that money comes back to you in the form of equity. It's mortgage versus rent. This is why people would rather mortgage a home than rent it because they want the money that they pay every month to come back to them in the form of equity. Solar is only for my forever home. This is probably the most common reason people pass on solar is because they think that solar is really only if you're going to be in the home for 15, 20 years or longer. They view it as a long-term commitment. But what it is more than that is solar is a tool. Solar panels give you the ability to control your energy costs while you live in the home. The main goal isn't to pay it off, although if you own it outright, that's awesome. The main goal is to use it to control your energy costs while you live in the home. Whether you live in the home 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, 7 years, it doesn't really matter. While you live in that home, you're setting the thermostat on your energy costs and therefore controlling your money and keeping more of it in your bank. So how long you live in the home doesn't really matter because solar is just a way to control your costs while you live there. If I move, selling my home will be harder. People have heard horror stories or Googled horror stories about trying to sell their home with solar and how it was hard to do. And selling a home could be complicated by itself. Adding solar to it could add another level that needs to be figured out. But if solar is done right, it's not a problem. Statistically speaking, houses with solar ownership, meaning if you own solar or you're financing it versus a lease, those houses sell not only faster, but for more money. This is statistically speaking. Now, are there outliers where there's a problem? Yes. It could be a bad lease or a PPA. It could be an ownership without a transfer option. It could be a few different factors, or maybe the person buying your home, their credit is really not that good, and they're already maxed out on what your home is, and there's no transfer policy, so they can't roll anything. I mean, there could be issues, but that's not the norm. Those are the outliers. So to stay away from saving significant amount of money to avoid an outlier doesn't make much sense. Um, and houses with solar sell every single day, and it's not a problem. I don't want debt. This one's common as well. People, we've been taught from a early age, David Ramsey's of the world tell us don't finance. If you can't buy it cash, you can't afford it. Look, that's just not true. It can be true, but the reality is smart people use money to make money all the time. Find a business that doesn't borrow money to make money. And that's really what you're doing. Are you going into debt? Well, you're going into debt to pay for a bill that you would otherwise never be able to cancel, which is your utility bill. So you can't cancel your utility bill or you don't have power unless you go solar. Now, instead of paying your utility company a rising cost, you're paying what you'd call a debt, sure, but it's a fixed debt every month that actually makes you money. Therefore, it's an asset. So you're investing into an asset. You're using money to make money, and that's what smart people do. So if you're avoiding solar and it's probably for one of these reasons, I can help you. My goal is to educate and inform you and to give you the right information so you can make a good decision. I don't do high pressure sales. I don't push people into doing anything, but I'd rather people make decisions with all the facts than go on to Google and find a myriad of information where half of it's true, half of it's wrong, and then it just confuses people. I want people to have clarity in their decision. Don't make a decision by Googling or asking AI. Get the facts, get the data. If you have this video, you have my information. Text me, call me. I'd be happy to do either an in-person consult or over the phone or over a Zoom.